and you've had a chance to work with people who are former rising stars, who are now literal legend movie stars. What have you learned from them? Have they given you advice, or has just watching them work? Give us some great stories about some of these great people you've worked with.
I mean, there have been obviously many moments where older brilliant actors that I've been lucky to work with have, like, you know, sat down and given me advice, but there have also been these sort of slightly more intricate moments that I found useful as an actor. One being specifically Mark Rylance, who I worked with on a TV show called Wolf Hall, who is just one of my favorite actors, and completely incredible, and subtlety is his world, and I was playing his son, and so I was able to just watch him all the time, and it was quite creepy, and I spoke to him one day because I had a scene with him which went terribly in my eyes. Nothing hit the mark, and I couldn't sleep the night after, and I was calling my family and being like, "Oh my God, Mark hates me. I ruined the scene. You know, this is the moment gone. Damn, I blew it." And left the hotel the next day, and they were like, "Oh, you're getting in Mark's car," and I was like, "Oh, what? Oh God, no. Okay." So I got in the car, and Mark was there, and he was like, "Oh, good morning, Charlie." Hello. Oh. And he was like, "Something's weighing on you." And I told him, and he just gave me this bit of acting advice, which I now use every day when I'm acting. And I don't know if there are any actors listening. This is sort of solely for you, I suppose. A useful technique that I did not know at the time. But he said, you know, just before they roll, breathe, which you'd be surprised how little I do that, and smell the room, smell what's happening.
Oh,
like,
so good.
Tap into your senses. And you'd be surprised at how present that makes you. It makes you very present in a way.
Ground yourself.
I mean, it's simple grounding. You're right, but for some reason, when Mark Rylance says it to you, it was the only time I've ever listened to anyone telling me to ground myself.
Yes, exactly.
But it's been for me the most useful specific acting technique for me. It's just like actually tap into your senses, tap into the room, what's floating around you.
Oh, so
You'd be surprised how much you can smell. You can smell some weird stuff if you focus. You can smell some weird things. This room is, whew.
Yeah. Paulina.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I've been working with some really incredible people, some icons. I've worked with Cheech Marin, Billy Bob Thornton, Demi Moore. The list goes on. And I mean, it's very intimidating walking into a room, doing a scene with them. But then on the day, it's not. They make it so easy to talk to them, to work off of each other, and there's so much respect for the craft and the stories that we're telling. I wish I had like a specific moment, but I'm very much an observer, and I just like to watch people work. Sam Elliott is joining our season.
Whoa.
Absolutely incredible, and I just got to watch him work. I was like a fly on the wall for one of the scenes, and I just got to like listen to him talk, and it was just so beautiful. And I think it is really taking in your environment that does help, and you know the character so well. You do your prep, you do all the work. On the day, you really throw it away, and you just live and find new things about the character.
Wow. Yeah, there's so many. What's interesting is I feel like the highest level, most impressive actors I've worked with are very rigorously normal and down to earth. It's the one, they're not acting like they have something to prove. They're not acting like celebrities. They're not throwing their weight around, which I really appreciate, because I think when I first entered, I was like, am I supposed to act like an actor? Am I supposed to act cool or like a certain way? And they're just normal, like dirty sneakers, driving their kids to school kind of thing.
Right.
And this is specifically for comedy, because I come from comedy, I come from improv, and the point of it is always, how do I make this funnier? How could I improvise based on this character? And do crazy stuff. And I was working with Molly Shannon, who's one of my heroes, and love her. And she told me this story, like the way she approaches comedy. She said there was this, she had heard this story about this play where there was a veteran actor and a newer actor, and in the beginning of the run, there's a really dramatic scene, and the newer actor asks for coffee, and it gets a big laugh. And then by the end of the run, it was getting less and less laughs, and the newer actor said to the veteran guy, "It's so weird, I was getting all these laughs in the beginning, and now no one laughs." And the veteran said, "Well, that's because at the beginning you were asking for the coffee, and now you're asking for the laugh."
So
and she was like, "Just ask for the coffee, like mean what you say," which seems so obvious, and maybe to dramatic actors that's very obvious, but coming from comedy, I was like, "Oh yeah, just like be a person who means what you say."
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My students get tired of me saying, "Really do what you're really doing for real, really."
Yeah, not like showing you're doing it, but being like, "I need coffee, like I really need it."
That's right.
I just had a moment recently where, and I don't come from a comedy background, but I was doing this play with Rafe and with Harriet, and a line that I was saying in the rehearsal room was killing for some reason. And I have never felt a feeling like that when the whole room's laughing and you're like, "Oh, I'm funny." And then night one, I say it the way I've been saying it: silence, crickets, nothing. And that's so. Thank you for that advice. I did eventually get laughs on that line throughout the run. I figured it out, but there was a fair few days when
that's a brutal silence.
It's scary, yeah, when you're not getting the laugh. Yikes, yeah.
Tarzan, tell us.
Comedy is hard. I want to say comedy is tough. I would love to have a chance at it, but then again, I don't, because I would feel so embarrassed if y'all didn't laugh.
There are several writers. They're working on a rom-com right now for you. Just don't worry.
The rom-com is different. I can fall in love. What you just said, doing something for real as if you're really doing it. I love to write that down for me. That was good.
Yes, I will.
I worked with an actor. His name is Shea Wiggum, and he's really helped me, like guided me, taught me that right there. He was like, "Dude, stop acting, just fucking do it, brother." And I was like, "Okay," and I did, and he was like, "That's acting, you're just doing it." But you just made me think about that. But the person who I was fortunate enough to work with, who became my mentor, was Tom Cruise, and he's told me a lot. Like I just like to pick his brain, and I would go to set when I wasn't working. I would just follow him around, him and Christopher Corey, and I would just sit there and just study and observe and learn. And I would just ask so many questions, and that's one of the tough questions. Like, well, what's the one thing that Tom has told you that's like profound? And I'm like, well, I can't say one thing because there's just so many. So what I think I can say, watching Tom, because Top Gun was one of like my first things. I did a TV show, and then I got Top Gun, and I was like, oh, this is what the introduction to being an actor is like, something like what you said. And I was blessed enough to have somebody like Tom to set the bar of excellence and the passion for your craft and how you conduct yourself. And if I would have had another, because oftentimes we have these people who set the example for us, and we're like, oh, that's how I'm supposed to behave. I'm supposed to act like this as a snooty actor. I'm supposed to behave like this. But Tom is so gracious, so kind, so loving. So, he's just a great person, and the care that he gives to everybody on set, I was like, okay, that's how I need to be conducting myself in my career. And the number one question I always ask him is, how did you become a movie star? Because I'm shooting towards that. And he would tell me, but it's about just loving and putting the audience first. And I guess it's not something that he's told, but it's just the example that he set. So I try to set that same example that I've witnessed from TC. So
there is something very special about when you work with those superstars or those movie stars. And forgive me for name dropping here, but I just worked with George Clooney and Sandler on this film, J. Kelly, which is showing tomorrow night. It's the closing film, which is very exciting. And there is, I swear I'm in it. But being on set with those two, and it's the ability to turn it on, to just be completely relaxed and be completely kind and calm with every single person on set, and I mean every single person. George is cracking jokes with this, that, and the other. Adam too, and then the cameras turn on and they know where they need to be and they say their lines, and it's just professionalism, and it's a beautiful thing to watch, you know. But it can be very rare in Hollywood, you know, because of everything that comes with it. But when you see people who are masters of turning up on time and making people feel good, it's really inspiring.
Oh, I'm so happy that you're all here and that you're so honest and kind and generous with your thoughts and your stories. I'm fortunate enough to be an actor, but I'm also a teacher. I'm so lucky, and I teach in the stage and screen program at Texas State University. And Round Top Film Festival was kind enough to invite my seniors. So the seniors are here. Hello, where are you? Yes. Hey. And so I know they're going to have some questions because it's really about the distance from where they're sitting to where you're sitting. And this distance can sometimes feel like the Grand Canyon. So I want to open up some questions for the audience, and I hope some of my students will ask you some questions too.
I want to say one thing. Where you're sitting, we sat.
Yes.
And that's the coolest part about it. We sat right there. You know what I mean? Like it's and I used to love that because that's a part of your story. That's your 60 years right there, man. And year 7, I was sitting in the audience. You know what I mean? My year 13, I was on a stage. No, the year 13, I was working a venue. The year 20, I was on a stage. You know what I mean? And so that's the whole point of this journey. It's so beautiful, and I can tell you we can all share the times where we were like, I was working at that venue, and now I got invited to that venue.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
You know,
Crazy moment.
Man, it's right there. It's not far at all. It's not far. You only make it far in your mind because you start calculating the seconds and the minutes instead of saying, I love the process of it. I love being in places where I don't belong just yet because I know I do belong. It's just you don't know that I belong. Yes. So you didn't have my email to send me the invite to come.
Yes.
Whatever.
I'm finding this very inspiring.
I know, it's good. It's so good. All right, here. Yes, thank you.
Hi. So I had a question about when we were thinking and talking. You were talking about he's in Rocket Man, which is like my favorite movie of all time.
Thank you.
I'm really nervous seeing you. I just had to say that before I asked my question, but it's kind of related. The actor who played Elton John, Taron Egerton, he had a background in singing, and it kind of made me think of the difference between that and like Queen, and how the actor who played the drummer in the Queen film, he didn't know anything about drumming, but he just like lied and said he could and was like, I'll figure it out. So I'm wondering, are y'all the type of actors that when you have something on your skill set, do you go, I'll figure out how to yodel? Like, I just want this job. Or do you spend your kind of off time learning new skills, kind of honing those skills? And if you do you find that there's a reoccurring skill that you're like, everyone's asking if I can yodel. I need to learn how to yodel, or whatever it may be. Do you find that you're trying to hone other skills like piano, drums, singing, anything like that, and any important kind of key skills, I guess, outside of acting?
I mean, I don't speak on behalf of everyone, but always say you can do the thing. Because if it's a big enough part or a big enough film, they will help you do the thing. And you know, if it's a small part and you need to learn to play the piano and you've got 3 weeks to do it, you can do that if you sit down every day and learn. You know, I had to learn. I do play music, so in terms of singing and guitar and things like that, I can do that for parts. Though I'm not Jimi Hendrix or anything, but I can. But luckily, I'm not in the running for that biopic. Thank you. I had to learn how to play Happy Birthday on the piano, and it had to be good, like a sort of jazz rendition. And I had 2 months to do it, and my friend came round, you know, and we sort of learned it, and we sort of did it. But I just. You know, I don't think you need to be fencing on your weekends to like...
Right. Rock climbing.
I tell you, if one of y'all said, hey, we need a bull rider that can lasso, I ain't a country boy, but yes, I can. No, honestly, the thing is, we think that you have to be a master at these skills, and you really don't. You just have to be competent enough to do it. Just show them you can do a little something and make them fall in love with you. They're not going to, it's not that they're going to not hire you because you can't yodel. they're gonna hire you because you're just not right for the part, or you just don't have the essence. So just say yes and try to yodel as best as you can. But
God damn it, he's got the part.
exactly. Make them fall in love with that beautiful smile. Make them fall in love with your charisma. Make them fall in love with you as a person, and they're gonna say, "We'll figure it out." If she can't yodel, we can have somebody voice over and yodel. They will have me voice over for you.
So good at yodeling.
It's so true. If they love you, they'll make it work.
Question for all of you who worked in both film and television. What are the challenges working between the two mediums? Which one do you prefer and why?
Well, I have found recently that doing more dramatic film, everybody's whispering. Are you guys just whispering all the
That's
time?
the key to dramatic acting.
It's
it
so
solves every problem.
weird.
Just whisper.
I'm like,
That is
I
correct.
drive a Volkswagen Jetta.
That is
And it
correct.
sounds very important.
what I mean, because it's so much more natural than TV, and so that's been interesting.
That's amazing. I love that.
I think the whispering thing happens a bit too much though now. I feel like we're at a point where it doesn't.
We're
even-
over whispering?
We're over whispering. Yeah. We're all.
That's the old thing that we do now.
I find and television it all moves much quicker. I tend to find, unless you're working with someone who's got the ability to sort of spend a lot of money or express their sort of true auteur elements, there tends to be a lot more coverage happening in television than in film. So you are moving quickly from different angles, and so sometimes the repetition in TV is something that I find quite challenging, because you tend to do things a lot, whereas in film there's a lot more space in the day. And you realize that acting is just about waiting.
That's a good way to put it. Space in the day.
Right?
I like that.
And you're there in your trailer for 6 hours, and then they go, we're ready for you. And you're like, okay, I need to go into the corner to do my warm-ups. And they're like, no, we're ready now. And you're like, oh, okay. Okay.
Like, but I've been watching Love Island for 6 hours, and I've had a lobotomy, and I don't know how to act anymore. They say hurry up and wait, because it's you're waiting, and then they're like, now, what are you doing? You're late, and you're like, what? Oh God, I gotta get to set.
I am curious if you have any directors you would love to work with and like really excited about, and if so, why? Like which ones?
The list is so long. It's like, oh my goodness.
Directors we want to work with, or that we have. I so want to work with Greta Gerwig. I really
Same.
do. Or Yorgos Lanthimos.
He's
Oh my
amazing.
God.
I'd love to work with. It would be amazing if he was here. Joachim Trier, who just made a movie called Sentimental Value and made The Worst Person in the World.
Oh
And,
my
uh,
God.
That movie.
And his films just kill me, and it's the type of stuff that it killed me in a good way, and it's the type of stuff that I want to be doing. Yeah. But the list is so long, and none of the names are coming to me right now. I mean, there are classics, obviously, and there are like,
Right.
Scorsese, Coleman.
Yes.
At our university, there's a big emphasis on finding the joy in the work, but what do y'all do when you find yourself feeling burnt out or not finding the joy in the work anymore? What do y'all do to kind of remedy that and take care of yourselves and not get burnt out?
Ooh.
That's such a good question. I feel like you go first.
So there's this booklet that I feel like a lot of us have heard of, The Artist's Way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is so great. Morning pages, taking yourself on an artist date, solo date, take yourself to a museum, take yourself to a concert. I think that refreshes you. Just be selfish. Honestly, take care of yourself. Get yourself
Yeah.
a massage. Just literally do nothing.
Yeah.
And if you have thoughts, write them down and burn them.
Yeah, because the first piece of advice I always give to young actors is get a good therapist and take care of yourself, because I mean, at least I'm very sensitive. I burn out easily, and this year I've been back to back on location because nothing shoots in LA anymore. So I'm just like, I was starting to be like, I don't even want to perform. I feel crazy, and had to just set aside a few days where I'm doing nothing and I'm talking to friends and I'm in a hot tub or like whatever. Otherwise, I'm going to be a kind of a nightmare to be around, I think.
I also burn out really easily.
I often, for myself, I often find whenever I'm feeling that burnout, it's because I'm trying too hard. And I'm trying to control things that are not in my control.
Whoa.
And it just gets so frustrating. You know, you're like, why isn't this happening? Why isn't that happening? Some people will probably say I'm a micromanager. I wouldn't say that. I've never been a manager in my life, except for my fantasy football team, which I'm doing pretty well at. Yes. But I find like I'm just trying to grab something and it's not there. And when I say, okay, step back, what can you control? What can you control in this moment? I find I have that release. So that's like taking yourself on dates. I love going to the movies. So I go to the movies by myself all the time, and I just sit there and I just let everything go. So, maybe, people should evaluate where that what was the word he said? What did you just say? I can't even, the burnout, that's the word. Where's that stemming from? And for me personally, it comes because I'm trying so hard and I'm expending so much energy on something and it's not happening. And you just gotta.
Did you just cure my stress and anxiety?
No, it's so smart.
Yeah, that resonated far too much. I think, yeah, the sort of the artist's dates of like, I mean, watch films. Just, they're so fun, and they're so good, and there's so many of them. And you can just fall away, and it's beautiful. Also, I think having something that you enjoy that's not in the industry is vital. For me, that's like music. Just sitting down and trying to express myself creatively in a way where there's no pressure. Because I do find I clearly don't have quite the mental health quality that Tarzan has, but
Same.
but I one day, the gap's not far, man. One day, it can be a very hard and damaging industry on your self-worth, and it's important to know that you can do something creative that is not reliant on getting a job.
Yes.
That's my tip, and ginger shots. I'm having a lot of them.
But that's such a good point about not putting your self-esteem on a silver platter for Hollywood to give or take away. It's that you have your own life, your own friends, your own things that are exciting to you that are not just getting hired. It's important.
Hi. So kind of on that same vein, I was just thinking about the times where you don't really get the jobs that you're wanting, or I did it. The jobs just aren't coming to you, and kind of what do you do during those times, and what kind of other jobs do you pick up other than acting jobs, I guess?
Be very smart with money. Somebody said it earlier about the jobs coming in. Jobs aren't coming in. After you finish a job, you sit there and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to work again. So you want to be smart with money so that you can eliminate the stress of I need a job to pay for this thing. And another thing, I think I read a lot, and I like to read biographies and stuff like that about people, not just as actors, but in performers and hearing their stories. Because you brought up the burnout thing as well, and made me think about it. All of these people struggle to get there, and that's what keeps me going when those auditions aren't working out, when it's just dry and I'm not hearing from my team, and that's what stops me from sending them 100 text messages and 100 emails. I send them about 90, but I don't get to the 100 because I start reading. I'm like, oh, okay, they went through that too, and it'll happen.
Yeah, because someone, when I first started, was like, look, it takes about 5 years to even start a career, and it takes about 10 to have it moving at all. And so that time needs to be filled with having a life and getting experience, so that when you are called to perform something, you can draw from stuff and take yourself on artist dates, and I worked at a restaurant, you know, just.
I actually heard something recently from a friend of mine who I worked with. I think this relates to the question that I've forgotten, but she was saying that, you know, as an actor, she's a wonderful actress, and she said, you know, you give yourself you give yourself fully, emotionally, physically, to parts, and you can forget to do that for yourself. And if you're not doing that for yourself, then you can't bring anything to a part, because there's no point acting if you don't have a life or if you're not living in this world, because the only way you can do it is if you're actually witnessing things that are happening and experiencing your own life. So that kind of blew my mind when she said that, and I hope that is related to what you asked.
And you have to love acting more than being an actor.
Oh, yeah.
You have to love writing more than being a writer.
Yes.
And so many people want to be actors, they're just not very interested in acting. And so then they find out that, oh, being an actor is a byproduct of doing the job.
Yes.
You know,
Wow,
and
yeah.
it's so critical. So if you fall in love with the doing, then you can always do it. You can always do it, even if
Yeah.
someone doesn't pay you to do it. It's always nice when somebody pays you to do it, believe me.
But like putting up a play with your friends just
Absolutely,
because you want to try something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, make it. You got to make it yourself. You have to make it yourself. There's no point waiting for things. You got to, make a short film with your friends. Shoot something on the weekend. It's fun.
Hi, I know y'all touched on waking up the senses before you get on set, and I was kind of just wondering what the last thing you do or say to yourself before you're flown in is.
Before what? Sorry.
Before you're like flown into your final mark, last places.
Okay.
I like to mess up immediately because there's something about worrying about getting it wrong that makes me turn into a robot that can't have fun at all. And so if I just mess up and go like, sorry, I fucked up, can we try that again? Then it's like, okay, we're all just people, we're all talking, it's fine.
So smart. I agree. I mean, I like that too. As a sports person, I used to play sports, and you know, the initial tip-off or the kickoff, it was always nerve-wracking, and then you get that first hit or that first missed shot, and you just feel comfortable. What I tell myself before, I don't know. I think it's different every time, depending on the character that I'm playing. You know, whatever role it requires. But I have this thing where I like to loosen up my body, so I do weird stuff, and you know, just to get all of that tension out of me.
I think it depends on the job. I feel like with Landman, music was like my anchor. And so I was always listening to music, especially the first season. It was a very emotional roller coaster. And so breathing, also box breathing, because it was like there were so many crying scenes. I was like, okay, I can't put myself in that terrible headspace each time for each take when we're taking a whole day to shoot one scene where I'm crying the whole time. And so there was like a breathing exercises where you just like do really heavy breathing and just like small breathing, and then that helps ignite the tears. So it's like tricking your body into thinking you're in that state. And I think aftercare is also super important. Music also helped me with that. So yeah.
Meditating too. I always meditate in my trailer, so I'm like kind of taking charge of my mental space, not just letting anything come in there, you know?
Yeah, it's this weird balance of play and calming, and I think that relates to what I was saying about Jay Kelly and George and Adam. You know, with the sort of the way that they communicate with the crew is very very relaxed, very playful. You know, it keeps them on their toes. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm assigning an acting technique to them, but you know, it keeps them on their toes. And then when the cameras turn on, there's a coolness and there's a calm, and similarly with Mark Rylance, there was this. We were always gambling between takes. He had these different types of like dominoes and some sort of like Asian dice game and stuff that we would play, and then they go rolling, and he would sort of just go completely zen, like, "Boo," and you could feel his breath. That's how deep it was. I mean, I think breath is vital. I was doing a play recently, and those last 5 minutes when they call the five and you're stood, I had to begin the play opened, I was behind the curtain. It's the most terrified I've ever been in my life. And you realize how little you breathe, because you care so much and you want it to be good, and please laugh at that thing that I said in rehearsals. And so just breathing, calming, soothing after the sort of the playfulness, keeping those things in balance. Hopefully you surprise yourself.
Oh, that's so good. Round Top Film Festival, thank you so much. These are wonderful people, and we should give them awards.